Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today. It's a lovely day today here in coastal Virginia. The rain and the winter storm has stopped for the moment, uh, although we're supposed to get some more pretty soon. And there you go. So, being here and being present, we'll begin our day as we do with our breathing exercise. We breathe in through our nose, out and hold, and out through our mouth. And it goes like this: in through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. Continue. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. Open your eyes if you have them closed. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Good morning, Shireen. It's nice to see you this morning. Anyone else out there, please send me a hello. Let me know you're here. It's wonderful to know. It's just so incredible to be given the opportunity to share the message given to me of the presence of God as myself, as yourself. Recently, um, someone was talking to me and said, it's really, it would really be in your best interest, Paul, if you would use the word we more often than I, because it's more inclusive. And although I wasn't given the opportunity to address that statement, I'd like to just say that I am unable to say for you what is so. I can only say for myself what is so. Each of us must choose for ourselves what is so and who we express ourselves as in this three-dimensional plane. And so when I express, I am the divine presence of God wherever I am, it includes you, because God is everything, all the time, everywhere. And to express, push out into this three-dimensional world that I am the presence of God wherever I am includes you. And so we is a given when one chooses to perceive that God is omnipotent and omnipresent. And so I don't know why that came up this morning, but there it was. And what I wanted to talk about this morning was about disengaging our autopilot. Good morning, Mary Lee. I'm happy that you have sun blessings this morning. And so I'd like to share something with you that I wrote about a year ago. I am the divine presence of the absolute wherever I am. I am transported in, excuse me, I am transported in and on this three-dimensional earth by an incredible vehicle that I am separate from and one with simultaneously. This vehicle, referred to as my body, has unique built-in systems that maintain, move, direct, respond, analyze, etc. automatically, similar to autopilot. In direct correlation to the programming and conditioning provided by its early caregivers and teachers. I'll read that part one more time. This vehicle, referred to as my body, has a unique built-in system that maintain, move, direct, respond, analyze, etc. automatically, similar to autopilot, in direct correlation to the programming and conditioning provided by its early caregivers and teachers. I am able to disengage the autopilot and resume responsibility. Excuse me. I am able to disengage the autopilot and assume responsibility for my body. In so doing, I am exercising my divine presence in and on this three-dimensional place. Each and every human being here may choose the same responsibility. It may be referred to as divine sanity. This is the option that we are available to choose. This is the availability that separates humankind from the rest of all that is our unique little pocket of all that is on this planet Earth, this three-dimensional world. We have the opportunity to be in the body consciously because our consciousness is the empowering aspect of the human nature. Now, needless to say, it may not be in our best interest to assume responsibility for managing our heartbeat. It may not be in our best interest to assume responsibility for managing our breathing practice. It may not be in our best interest to assume responsibility for batting my eyes or for blinking, if you will. But in other aspects of this body, this three-dimensional material vehicle, it may serve me very well, and in my experience does serve me very well to assume the responsibility for my thoughts, my conscious thoughts, my emotions, the emotions in the moment of certain and all experiences, and my ego, the sense of self, maintaining my own piloting of my thoughts allows me to choose to retrain this whole consciousness in the three-dimensional world to move from lack, to move from damage, to move from not enough, to move from do it to me, to conscious choice of desired ideas and thoughts. The group of desired ideas and thoughts are generally referred to as affirmations. The group of desired thoughts are commonly referred to as principles. The group of desired thoughts is commonly accessed through joy and inclusion and love. To become in charge of my emotions, to be able to step back and take a breath moment by moment as the conditioned response mechanisms of my being express themselves, to just step back and take a breath and become conscious of that conditioned response and choose whether or not in this moment it's acceptable. And if I choose that certain conditioned responses are not desirable in any situation, then I can systematically retrain myself to eliminate those responses. For instance, if I had a response that whenever someone offended me, I slapped their face. Now, when I grew up, that was not an unheard of thing. But what I know today is I do not desire that type of activity. And so I have trained myself out of it. Because in my familial reality as a child, having my face slapped for saying the wrong thing or simply just to get my attention, it was not commonplace, but it did happen. And it happened throughout the ripples of my family at the time: parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts. Today, it's an undesirable response. It's even a less desirable reaction. And so I have retrained myself away from that response. When I was a child, if I made a smart aleck comment to my mother or to my grandmother, I would have my face slapped. That's how I was trained to not make smart aleck comments. And what I know today, in today's world, in 2021, that is unacceptable behavior. And as I desire for people to see me and hear me and realize me as the divine expression of God wherever I go, I have consciously chosen to eliminate that from my repertoire of quote reactions and or responses. Good morning, Jim. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. And each of you can choose whatever it is for you that you are conditioned to use as reactions or responses. We oftentimes think it's out of our control. We are trained to believe it is out of our control. But I say to you, that is not so. It is all within our control, every bit of it. And we can choose which to allow to remain on autopilot and which to resume responsibility for. That's the message that I bring to you today. That's the message of embracing my spiritual beingness, is to become consciously responsible for how this three-dimensional vehicle looks, smells, presents itself, reacts, responds, embraces this world in which we live. When each of us choose to shut off the autopilot and take charge of our conscious current thoughts, our emotions, and how they respond and or react to certain situations, our ego and how it engages our emotions and thoughts, we have stepped into being spiritual. We have stepped into acknowledging myself as the presence of creation, the presence of creative doing. The illusion that I am trapped in this three-dimensional world, in this three-dimensional body, as a being of spirit is completely out of place. I am free. I am the free expression of God, of all that is, of everything all the time anyway, and all is well. And we are the same. You and I, whomever you are, wherever you are out there in the digital world, seeing this and listening to this, you and I, or you and I, are the same. We are the individual expression of God, all that is, wherever we are. I salute you as the presence of God, wherever you are. I acknowledge you as the expression of all that is. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.